Howdy, buckaroos. Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Haunted Chronicles. I'm Mr. Haunted, and tonight's guest, to name a few, has had roles in Charles in Charge, Another World, Up the Creek, Carnosaur, Ghostbusters, A Very Brady Christmas, and now co-hosts the radio show Fluid, along with Willie Aames and Susan Olsen. The lovely, talented, baby soft Jennifer Runyon. Jen?
Oh, Jimmy, hello.
Do you know where I got that from?
You were listening to my show.
Yes, that proves that I was listening.
Yes,
that was from the Guilty Pleasures episode.
Yes, that's my new nickname, Baby Soft.
And
everyone has to listen to know.
And for those in the chat room, I'm going to put in that link to Jen's radio show, and please like the page. You could follow what's going on, and they also have the shows on demand. And what are you on, about the 9th or 10th episode?
I don't even. Isn't that terrible? I don't even know. Are we like
it's around there
6,
somewhere?
7? Yeah. I think you're right. Wow. Okay. That's
anyways,
pretty good.
We'll talk about that after. We're going to talk all about that stuff. And thank you so much for joining me. I was telling you earlier that I said when I first messaged you, would you like to be a guest? And then I wanted to take it back because I felt bad. Then you immediately said I'd be honored, and you were so excited. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. I really was honored. I just thought that was so kind of you to invite me, and I'm excited to be here.
All right. And normally we start our show with scary movie celebrity birthdays, but in honor of you,
okay.
I don't know if it's an honor or not, but we're going to do 80s celebrity birthdays, stars that appeared in movies from the 80s, and I'll give you the person, and then they're having a birthday upcoming this week, and then you can guess their age. So it's a game.
I have to guess their age. Okay.
Yes. So you will not lose
I don't have
anything.
to guess the movie, though. I don't have to guess the movie?
No, I'll tell you what movies they were in. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Christopher Lloyd, who was in a TV series Taxi, Mr. Mom. He was Dr. Emmett Brown in Back to the Future. And we snuck in a scary movie here. He played Uncle Fester in 1991's The Addams Family.
Right.
How old will he be this week?
I'm going to take a guess. Oh, my God. I feel like I'm on a movie set in New York right now. And Bill Murray's sitting across from me.
No pressure.
I'm going to guess 67.
Flip that around, and you're correct. He'll be 76.
Okay. I was close.
Yeah. Yep. Play along.
I have the right numbers.
Play along in the chat room, fellas. And the chat is full, and we're going to give them all shout-outs later.
Awesome.
John Lithgow or John Lithgow. Yeah, I'm not sure how to say that.
Lithgow.
He was in the Twilight Zone movie, Raising Cain, The Pelican Brief, and my favorite was the voice of Lord Farquaad in Shrek. And he was Reverend Shaw Moore in Footloose.
Yes, he was. Okay, so I'm thinking Christopher Lloyd was 76. I'm thinking they're very close in age. I'm going to give a guess off the top of my head of 74.
Very close. 69. He'll be 69.
Oh, I'm sucking at this game.
I want you to get one. It's hard. It's a hard game.
I know. I want to get one.
The Brady Bunch questions will be easier, hopefully. Okay. Yes. Okay. Usually Dave does a buzzer when you're wrong, and he refuses to use it on you.
Oh, thank you.
But he does a beautiful ringing sound. Like that when you get it right.
Okay.
How about this one? Dawn Wells, who appeared on Growing Pains, The Love Boat, Fantasy Island, and, of course, was Marianne on Gilligan's Island. How old will Dawn be this week?
I'm going to say 66.
One number's correct. 76. She's going to be 76.
See, I'm very kind. I'm very kind, except to John Lithgow. I've been very generous with bringing their age down for them. Oh,
If
wow.
you, if you notice,
she looks amazing. Have you seen pictures of her? She's amazing looking at 76.
She looks great. And it makes
Wow.
me feel younger when I do these older ones.
Okay.
You know? All right.
Yeah,
And how about this one? I think you know this person. Erin Moran, who was in the 1981 movie Galaxy of Terror. She had appearances in Family Affair, My Three Sons, and The Waltons. And she played, of course, Joni Cunningham in Happy Days.
Erin Moran is 54 years old.
She is 54 years old.
Yay! And you know why I know that? Because she went to junior high and high school with me.
Really?
That's the only reason I know that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
We weren't friends, but I remember when I think Happy Days would go on hiatus, she would come back to school. And, of course it was, oh my gosh, Erin Moran, that's, Joni. That is so cool. So,
That is cool. I went to school with absolutely no one. Famous. All right. How about this one? Pam Dauber, who was in the scary movie Don't Look Behind You, The Face of Fear, and she played Mindy McConnell in Mork and Mindy.
I am... Okay, so that would have been Happy Days era. I would have been, I'm going to say 61.
Oh, so close. She's 62 now. She's 60, only a year away. She's 62 now. She'll be 63 next week. Okay. And Susan just came into the chat room, and it's her birthday today, and she's spending it with us. Happy birthday, Susan.
Happy birthday, Susan.
And, we got some correct answers in the chat here. Margot Kidder. In 2009, Halloween 2, Something Evil Comes, Nightmare Man, and we're going to get into this later because we're going to talk about this later. The 1999 movie The Clown at Midnight. We're going to talk about clowns later if we get time. Lois Lane in the Superman movies, and she was Kathy Lutz in Amityville Horror.
Okay.
Margot Kidder.
I want to say 73.
Margot Kidder will be 66. That was a tough one.
Yeah,
and I got one. I had to throw this guy in because it's one of my favorite movies, and I quote it all day long. William Zabka, who was in Back to School, European Vacation, and of course he was Johnny Lawrence in The Karate Kid.
Yes, and I worked with Billy Zabka on a TV Movie of the Week. Yes, we are friends on Facebook. He's such a great guy. I want to say, I think he was a little bit younger than me. I want to think 50, 51.
Very close, 49. He'll be 49.
Oh, okay, I was close.
You know what's sad? I went to one, it was a Comic-Con. I think it was something like a Comic-Con or one of those cons, and he was there. And I felt so bad because somebody was asking him, I forget, they're just asking him questions, but I remember he said, everybody thinks I'm so mean in real life. Like, they on the street, like, mean to him. And he's like, he seems like the nicest guy.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart. He's such a nice guy. And yeah, that's like his big, that's what he's known for, that role. And yeah, so he does. I remember him saying he got that a lot.
And I'm going to do a whole Karate Kid show one day because I want to cite about 40 examples while Danielson was the jerk that started all this trouble. There's a lot of, I will get into that later. But Danielson started a lot of trouble when he first got there. Thank you.
Yeah, Danielson, yes, he did.
He did.
He was not an easy kid.
No, we'll talk about that later. Let's get into these here. Okay, I created a small, before we get into other stuff, I created a small 70s and 80s trivia quiz for you. So the birthdays are done.
Okay. Hopefully I'm going to do better on this. Okay.
I think you will.
Okay.
First, we'll start with some Ghostbusters trivia. And for all that don't know, you were in my favorite scene of Ghostbusters, which I put on Facebook earlier this week. I put me holding a card up. And,
yes, I saw that.
And I wanted people to guess what card it was, and the correct answer was a star for all the people that guessed. It was the star. And most people answered a star. They're psychic in there.
I saw that. I was reading all the thread, and I'm like, God, people.
I'm sorry. Your Facebook has been buzzing all week long. Sorry.
It's okay. That's okay.
All right. In the scene where Bill Murray was testing you and another student with the ESP cards, how much were the participants paid?
$5.
Correct.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Thanks, Dave. The answer is $5. After the male student is repeatedly shocked, he walks out and says, "You can keep the $5. I've had it." And the funny part is because after he's already been shocked a few times, Bill Murray says, "You only have 75 more to go."
Yeah.
That's all.
That was a great scene. That was a good scene.
Okay, in the original, this is a little tricky one, okay? In the original Ghostbusters, the primary ghost capturing device used is called a proton pack in the original.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. Is that true or false?
True.
Oh, that's a little tricky one.
No. The proton pack's what they wear.
Well, I did some research. Apparently, it was never mentioned in the first one. Only in the second Ghostbusters 2, the term proton pack was used. So I guess they still had it, but it wasn't named yet.
Okay. Well, then I did get it right.
And I could be wrong. It's the internet. Who knows? Okay.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy and John Candy accepted roles in the movie, but later turned them down. True or false?
True.
True. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Okay.
I know a little bit of this trivia.
You're doing very well.
Thank you.
Okay, when Dana is putting away groceries in the kitchen, bacon starts to fry by itself right on the kitchen counter.
Yes. True or false?
Yes, true or false?
False.
Correct. And for extra point, what was
an
fried?
egg.
It was an egg.
It was an egg.
Wow, you're good. See, I had to make them too tough. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit. I have a few Brady... Did you watch the Brady Bunch show when you were a kid a lot?
Of course I did. Of course I did. Yeah,
I had to watch each one 20 times. So, okay,
and I probably have to. So, but I'm nervous about how I'm going to do here.
Well, I didn't want to give you too... as I know, like, every little... I know everything, so I try to make these, not too hard.
Okay.
How about... What was the name of the boy that was making fun of the way Cindy talked?
Oh, for heaven's sake. George Glass. No. Isn't everybody George Glass? No, I have no idea.
Buddy Hinton.
Buddy Hinton.
I didn't like him at all.
No.
And I got, hopefully... Okay, a talent agent signs Greg to be the next rock star. Yes. What did the agent want Greg to change his name to? Because he fit into the suit. If that helps you remember the episode.
Wasn't it Johnny Bravo?
Yes, it was. Correct.
Oh! I'm so excited. Do I win something?
Yes, I'll send you something in the mail next week.
Okay.
Send you a prize.
Oh.
Okay.
Diabetes.
That is from 3 weeks ago when we celebrated Wilford Brimley's birthday.
Oh, there you go.
The guy from the commercial.
Don't ask me how old he is.
He was 83, I believe.
Wow.
How about what was the Brady's dog's name? And for extra bonus points, what was the cat's name?
Okay. Tiger.
Right. You're correct. This is extra. This is very advanced.
Extra point. For the extra point, I want to say this. I don't know if it's right, but for some reason, it keeps coming to me. Mm-hmm. Fluffy.
Fluffy is correct. So, you were always joking about how you should come back in another Ghostbusters movie as a psychic that's real, and it's like you are psychic. Yes. You're getting all these right.
Yeah. Just not with ages. I just can't. I think people are ageless. I can't see it.
You are vindicated. I have a couple more, and then
Okay,
we'll get
I
into
love
your
it.
show and stuff. In the movie, now you got to know this one. In the movie,
Okay.
A Very Brady Christmas, where you
Yes.
play Cindy Brady,
Yes.
Santa pays a visit. Who is under the
Yes.
Santa costume, and he only gives one person a present? Who is under the costume, and who did he give the present to?
It's Sam the Butcher, and he gave a present to Alice.
Wow, exactly. And he was pleading for Alice's forgiveness. And the funniest part of this movie to me, I think they were getting a little racy because it was if you remember, for anybody who didn't see the movie or just a little refresher, Alice shows up at the Brady's house in tears around Christmas time and shows Mike and Carol a note that Sam left her written on butcher paper. And it says, "Dear Alice, I lied to you. I wasn't working nights plucking chickens. I met a younger woman. At first, we just traded meatloaf recipes. Then one night, she asked me to season her rump roast." That's a true story.
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah. It's like rated
so
R.
he came to beg for her forgiveness. Yes.
Yeah, he did, and he did. And Alice went back to her, and I didn't like that part. I think she could have done something.
Yeah, I was sort of pissed at Sam the Butcher. I don't know. In that part, actually, it was played by Louis Arquette. That is.
Really?
Yes. What's Rosanna Arquette and
Rosanna
David
and,
Arquette's father. Yep.
David and there's a bunch of the Arquettes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the last quiz question.
Okay.
And then the pressure's off.
Okay.
The Bradys got into the newspaper 3 times. Name only one for the win. Name one time that the Bradys got into the newspaper.
But wait, is this the TV show only?
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I want to think. Oh, gosh.
That's a tough one.
It is, and you know what? I'm just going to make a guess.
Yeah.
Did Mom Brady or Alice make a pie and win a contest?
That's a good guess because I could picture that being an episode. But they were. That was a tough one. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh no! You got a buzzer.
Oh, damn it.
They were in the paper for Father of the Year, and when Peter was a hero, and for
yes.
what I remember about that was called Driscoll's Toy Shop when he saved the little girl from the falling shelf.
Yes. I remember. That was such a cute. Oh, I haven't seen that episode in forever.
The best show ever, and for the Teeter Totter record was the other one.
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, listen. I tell you, every episode when you were a kid, I'm sure. I know you were like this. You were like anxious for Friday night. It was the Bradys and it was the Partridge Family, and that was like heaven to me. I loved Friday nights.
Do you know what my
That's
favorite
when people stayed home. Yeah.
Friday night was the Kolchak the Night Stalker, which was only on for season.
Yeah.
My favorite. And Tuesday, I was just saying this last week. Tuesday nights had Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, then Three's Company, all in a row on one night.
Brilliant. That's when people watch TV.
And then that's a perfect segue into Wednesday nights when 8 is Enough was on.
Aww.
And
I remember this like yesterday.
And for I would like you to tell the listeners about your new radio show, and I haven't missed one yet. And you co-host with Willie Aames and Susan Olsen. And could you tell us how you got the idea to do the show and when it's on and what you talk about? And
sure. Wait, well, let me tell you, it all kind of started. Jimmy, you were telling me you started your show about 9 months ago.
Yeah. And
about 9 months ago, I was asked to to co-host a show called Feast on This. It's a podcast also on WBAR Radio, New York. And I said, sure. I'd never done radio. My parents were all in radio. I'd never done it, but I thought, oh, why not just say yes? What's worst thing that can happen? You're horrible, and they tell you go away. And so I started doing this show with this wonderful girl named Venus Quintana, and she'd had the show and needed a new co-host, and it was just fun. We talk all about food, and we talk to chefs and talk to different restaurant owners, and it's just been a lot of fun. And about 3 months ago, my producer Nicolaitis called me and said, "Listen, I want to do another show with you. I have a couple ideas for a co-host," and he kind of threw some ideas out, and I said, "You know what? I really don't want to be. I don't want to be the lead. I want to be in an ensemble. I just would feel a lot more comfortable." And I said, who I'd really love to have is Willie, Aames, and Susan Olsen, and I just adore them. They're my friends. They're just great people. And so I called Willie and just said, "What do you think? Would you want to do it?" And Willie was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." So then we called Susan, and she was on board. And so we've been doing it now, I think, probably about a month and a half or so, 2 months, and it's just it's like being at a dinner party with us. We kind of just have fun and talk about, we've had a couple shows that we kind of talk about serious things, but for the most part, we really like to just kind of have fun and, just talk about silly things and laugh, and people seem to be really liking it. We're still brand new, and we're still kind of finding our feet, and but so far so good. We've had some really good feedback, and we're having a great time. And if anyone who's listening or in the chat room, check it out. I think you'll really enjoy Willie. He is he's such an amazing guy, and Susan is probably one of the smartest women I've ever met. And the three of us just are really good friends, and we're having a great time.
And and it's nice because you talk about you'll pick a subject each week, and maybe it's something in the news that's been going on, but you also sprinkle in old stories from shows or movies you've been on in with that, so it's a fun mix.
Yeah. We did the first three. We did what we tried to do, because we didn't really want it to be a nostalgia show, so we call it nostalgia, because everybody does want to ask a lot of questions, and we understand that. I mean, it's really not so much for me. A lot of the nostalgia questions are really for Susan and Willie, because, these guys were on, I've worked a lot, but these guys were on such iconic, series for years and years and years. So they didn't want to every week have people calling in and asking the same questions. So what we did, the first three were interviews. One interview was just about Susan,
right? And
we asked her questions that a lot of people would never ask her. Then we did me, and they asked, I did mine, and then we did Willie, and we just talked about, it's kind of real and raw, and we got it out of the way so that if anybody really wanted to know some stuff, we could say just go on iTunes, and you can check out that episode and hear all those answers. And so now we can talk about fun stuff, not us. We can, get into other subjects and
get it over with.
As you said, get it over with. And listen, if people want to ask, we're not going to berate them. But go ahead.
No, you go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you. No, I was just going to say we just thought it was kind of smart to get some of that out of the way, and that way we could have fun talking about other stuff, because that isn't who we are anymore. We're all in our 50s now, and we've kind of lived a lot since those days and gone through a lot of things. So we kind of want to keep it light and fun, and the real 50 kind of thing, Yeah.
And we have 2 minutes till break. What can I squeeze in for 2 minutes? Oh, can you tell us what time it's on when it's live?
Oh, okay. So
actually,
it's on WBAR New York, Blog Talk Radio, WBAR New York. It's on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock. And again, we are archived, and our shows are all archived. So if anybody wanted to go in and listen to old episodes, they can. We're on iTunes. we're going to be having some really exciting guests coming up. We're not telling anybody who they are because it's kind of fun and kind of fun to keep it a mystery.
Right.
Yeah. So that's our show, and I think if people tuned in, I think they'd have a good time. It's pretty entertaining. Willie Aames is just the best.
Yeah,
The best.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also put the link in the chat. And for people that aren't in the chat, for to go to their Facebook page, which they update and have all the past shows. Also, it's facebook.com/Fluid Talk. And that's where.
Yes, and we're working on our website, and as soon as that gets up and running, we'll, I'll let you know, Jimmy, and you can share that with people too.
And Jen, we're already at halftime.
Oh my! Are you serious?
Yeah. So we'll be back in a couple minutes, and we're listening to Jennifer Runyon and Mr. Haunted, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Welcome back to the Haunted Chronicles, and I'm talking with Jennifer Baby Soft Runyon, and and I want to give shout-outs to everybody in the chat room and a few others that I promised shout-outs to. Chazworm, Sprinkles, Peg, Sue, Melissa, Dr. Dave, Lydia, Renee, Chad, Tanya, Bob, Tiffany, Kara, Linda, Cheryl, Kristen, Amy, Flip, Valerie, Double D, Heidi G, Rich, Paul, Priscilla, Bob, Valerie, Heidi Holly, and Kurt Runyon, a special shout-out. Fabian,
Yay!
Jared, Brandon, Carrie, Matt, and Ben. And if Willie's listening, a shout-out to Willie. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
Oh, I just want to say thank you guys for all listening. This is really cool. I love it.
Thank you. And again, happy birthday, Susan, who's here every week. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Susan.
All right. And then I just found out today that you have some personal stories that happened to you to do with the supernatural.
Oh, yeah.
Please share.
I will share this with you. And I got to tell you, I really would love to tell this story on Celebrity Ghost Stories because I want to go back to this location with Kim Russo and do the haunting of because this was such a frightening experience, and I don't understand it, and none of us that experienced it have ever forgotten it. But here's what happened. I was living in New York, and I really missed my family. I have such a I was so close to my mom and my younger brother Kurt, who's listening, and Kurt was about 10 and maybe 9, and so I was doing a soap opera in New York, and I couldn't stand it. I'm like, I just really need my mom. I was young. I was a young girl, all by myself in the big city. Excuse me. And I said, Mom, Kurt, you guys, I want you to move out here. So I went looking for a place for the three of us. And I thought, my little brother, I'm going to move into Westchester County. I'm going to move to where he's living in a normal, not in the city, where he can play outside, because that's all he ever knew, as a kid. So I find this house in White Plains, New York. And it's old, and it's so cool, and it's a duplex. One side is you can live on, the other side has another, unit for people to live in. So it was cut up. So I find this place, and I'm like, okay, this is perfect. It's not too far from the city for me to get to work, and I rent it, and I move in before they get there. And what I notice the first night, I'm alone, and I have my cat, and my cat just sits I'm in the living room, and the staircase, you can see the staircase over to the side of the room, and she's sitting at the bottom of the staircase just staring up and hissing. And of course, I have goosebumps already. something doesn't feel right. I felt like somebody's watching me, and I felt uncomfortable even walking from the living room through this dining room area to the kitchen. You felt like eyes were on you the whole time. So anyway, I was there for about a week by myself, very uncomfortable. So I slept downstairs on the couch most of the time, not up in my bedroom. And so a week later, my mom sent my little brother to me, and he comes out, and bless his heart, he's got to get up and go to the show with me in the morning, and that means getting up at 4:30 to drive to New York, and I'm done usually by noon because I was the first scenes usually of the day. So we come home after the first day he's there, and he comes to work with me, and we're so tired from getting up so early, and he has bunk beds that I bought him for his room. So we're in his room, and he gets up on the top bunk, and I get on the bottom bunk. I said, let's take a nap. He's just a little kid. And I fell instantly asleep. And my brother will tell you to this day, broad daylight, we're napping with the shades down, and he hears footsteps coming towards the bedroom and then just stopping in front of the bedroom door. And, of course, being a little kid, he's got the covers up over his face and, paranoid. And so, mind you, this is June. Okay, this is the end of June. My mom shows up a couple weeks later, and all these odd things happen, just really strange things that you can't quite understand. My brother's not telling me he hears footsteps because he's little. He's just freaked out. I'm not telling him things I'm seeing because he's little, and I don't want to freak him out. Mm-hmm. So my mom gets there, and my mom starts having experiences. My mom had people touching her on the back of her, on her back, on her shoulder. She'd feel breathing on her, crazy. Well, after, God, how many weeks were we there? I don't even think we were there 5 weeks. I looked at my mom one day, and I went, we got to get out of here. There's something going on. And she went, oh, my God, you too? And I'm like, I'm scared. So we literally drove to the city, found an apartment, put the down payment on it, and we had a week left to live in this house. So we packed it all up. We packed everything up. The night, and mind you, still things are happening, noises, banging on walls, and nobody's home, by the way, next door. They were on vacation. So the night before the movers were coming, we have everything packed, and we're all in my mom's room because that's how nervous we all are. Like, nobody wants to sleep in their own bedroom, so we're all in my mom's big bed. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, we hear a door slam, and we jump up, we run out, and it's this bathroom door that there's no way the door could slam like that because of a shag rug that was in there. You had to push the door to slam it, physically, And then so we open the door, and the dog's in there. And there's no way the dog could have shut the door. And she's, whining and crying, and the cat's freaking out. Okay, this is the weirdest part of the story. I had, and still do, have this little music box that when you open, yeah, I know, it's so cliche. It was given to me by my friend Marilyn, who was the voice of Olive Oil. Not the original voice, but, in the 70s when they were doing all of, Popeye cartoons. She was the voice of Olive Oil. And she had given me this little music box. When you open the drawer, it, I'm Popeye the Sailor, the music plays. And Popeye dances, right? Or Olive Oil. It was her. It was Olive Oil. And she would dance. All of a sudden, we're standing there, and we hear, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Okay. It was packed.
Music boxes are creepy.
Yeah. It was packed, wrapped in newspaper, or whatever the paper is that they give you, in a box that was sealed shut.
Wow.
There would be no way. So, of course, we rip open the thing, and it's still playing, and I mean, I've never been so freaked out in my life. We left the next morning and never looked back, it was, I would love to go back now and understand what happened, because too many crazy things happened, feelings, feeling like someone was right behind you. And unless it's happened to you, nobody would believe you. You and I talked about that, Jimmy.
Yeah.
It's like people look at me and they go, yeah, right, okay, well, it probably was, no. And other things have happened to me in my life when I was younger as a kid, little kid, that now I understand being an adult. I'm like, wait a minute, that wasn't normal. That was strange. That was not, there's no reasoning for it, what happened.
Did you tell
But
your
that
parents
is my,
when you were a kid?
when I was a kid, I would tell them this lady, it was at my grandmother's house, and she lived in this old house in Chicago, and this lady used to walk by the bedroom that I slept in. I used to see a lady walk by. And one night this lady walked by, and my mom came in like 10 minutes later, and I said, who is that lady? And she said, oh, what lady? And I said, well, this lady walked by, and she stopped and looked at me, and then she turned and walked away. Well, come to find out, she just said, oh, honey, no. Come to find out, they saw her all the time. And my grandparents they had seances, and because they had so much activity in this house that they were just fascinated, because they knew there's something here. So they became, they had the horn, the old horn that they used to have. I don't know if they still do it. Do you remember that, the seance horn? Have you guys heard of that?
No,
Well,
I
they
want
used
one.
to have this. Yeah. My grandmother had one, and I remember I used to play with it. And I go, what is this? Oh, it's just an instrument. Well, later I found out from my mother, they used that for seances. That's what they believed voices would come, would talk to them through. It's crazy. But that was my life. So I had all of these strange things, and, my brothers have experienced it in that same house. My mother did when she was a young girl. But, of course, I didn't know all the stories until I was old enough that I think she felt comfortable, telling me, and I wasn't going to have nightmares for the rest of my life. It's crazy.
So anybody from Celebrity Ghost Stories that's listening, or anybody has a connection in the chat room,
I'm telling you, I want to
hit
go
them up.
back.
Let's get this done.
And, I have a picture. I have a picture of that house that another friend of ours lived in it also. They lived on the other side, and their son was friends with my little brother while we lived there. And he sent us a picture of the house. And every Halloween, I put it up on Facebook because, seriously, this place still haunts me to this day. So, yeah, Celebrity Ghost Stories, please. I need to meet with Renee or Kim Russo, to go back. I'd love to go back.
Wow. We might have a connection for you. I don't want to promise anything, but we might have a connection for you.
Oh, wow. That would be so amazing.
We only have like 10 minutes left, and I have so much to talk to you about.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
I hope my story. Did you like my story? Cause it's
I loved your story. I can't wait to listen back.
Okay.
I miss so much stuff when I'm listening live.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know. I love this story. I know it's a quick story. How you met Susan Olsen?
Oh, this is so funny. Okay. So, of course, I played Susan for A Very Brady Christmas, and she had gotten married. And was going to be going on her honeymoon. But really, if you want to know the true story, they didn't want to pay Susan what they were going to pay the rest of the kids. And, Susan kind of made a stand. She's like, I won't go on my honeymoon if you pay me what everyone else is. And they didn't do it, which I think is really wrong. I mean, how do you do that? That's not right. The kids all should have been paid equal. But anyway, I took over for Susan for the episode. And years later, I am in a Burger King in California with my little kids. I was living out of state, and I was back visiting. And I'm in the little town my brother lives in, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, my God, that's Susan Olsen. That's Susan Olsen. And of course I look like crap. I have my hair up in a bun. My face I didn't take out of the drawer that day, and I'm just looking really, really lovely. But I went, oh my God, I have to say hi to her. I just have to. This would probably be my only opportunity to ever meet her. So I went up to her and I just said, Susan, I don't know, you probably don't know me, but I'm Jennifer and I played you in a Very Brady Christmas. And she goes, oh my God, of course. And she was so dear and really sweet. And I just said, I hope I made you proud. It was a little, it was very weird, because fans, they know their characters, and it's hard to come in sometimes and take over for someone.
What?
But she was lovely. She was lovely, and she and I are such good friends. And like I said, we have a radio show together now. I mean, we're sisters. We're forever connected. We're sisters forever.
That's a great story.
So that's how we met.
And I have to give 2 shout-outs that I forgot about. I'm very sorry. Brock and Fuzzy.
Oh, please. Who? Say it?
Brock, who usually co-hosts with me, and Fuzzy the cat, which is the chat room mascot.
Yay!
And where was I? Now I got sidetracked. We're talking about that story is like. Could anybody imagine going into a Burger King and seeing the 2 Cindy Brady's? Like that'd be amazing.
Dueling Cindy's.
Yeah. And
it's
one thing I noticed on your page, that I don't know if you have the same issue I do. We had an Urban Legends episode where to make it short, there was a clown supposedly living in someone's house, a midget clown that was supposedly stealing their food when they were out and sleeping and stuff. And ever since then, I've been getting clown pictures like on my Facebook page constantly from everybody, scary clown pictures. And I noticed you had one, and I wanted to just talk about that quickly, if we could. Clowns, strange clowns have been reported roaming the streets of Wasco, California.
Yeah.
And the clowns have been spotted all over town in the middle of the night, sometimes holding balloons, and no one seems to know who or who's behind it. And police add there's been no criminal activities linked to the clowns. and now, on American Horror Story Freak Show, which I haven't watched yet, but apparently there's a killer clown, right?
Right,
named Twisty, who's committing gruesome murders.
Twisty the clown.
And there's more. Yeah,
tell me.
Oh.
No, tell me. Tell me.
This is what's in the news now. America's largest clown club is very upset about the scary clown on American Horror Story. This is from an article I found on Salon.com. It's the nation's largest clown organization, the Clowns of America International, is far from amused by the latest season of American Horror Story. The FX series' current season, American Horror Story Freak Show, features a terrifying serial-killing clown named Twisty. But real clowns take umbrage. I think it's the first time I ever said umbrage in my life.
Umbrage.
The president of the Clowns of America International, Glenn Kohlberger, is worried that the portrayal of clowns is going to throw gasoline on the ever-burning fire of clown fear in America. And he just wants to say he does not support, in any way, shape, or form, any medium that sensationalizes or adds to coulrophobia, which is clown fear. And I'm picturing this guy in his clowny shoes and clowny nose being interviewed, and that scares me in itself.
You know what it reminds me of? I don't know if any of you, you guys all know horror movies and everything, but I'm sure you know this movie. It's one my husband worked on. My husband's an assistant director, and years ago he worked on this movie called Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
No way.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Have you heard of it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, my husband worked on that, and I went up to where did they film it? Up in Northern California, and just the coolest little town, Capitola, I think it was. And it just reminds me of being with him on that shoot, and they would be shooting these clowns just walking down the street with balloons, these creepy clowns. And now people are doing it. It's crazy.
And the movie
It. Yeah, right? Oh,
That didn't help either.
mm-mm. I don't know. Clowns are creepy.
And I want to see if you know anything about this also. Next week, our guest is going to be Matt Knudsen, he's a young kid. I think he's like 25, and he's in Southside Paranormal out of Chicago. And I've heard so many stories about haunted Chicago cemeteries. I know there's a lot in New England, and I know about those, but I've always heard of Resurrection Mary and Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. Did you ever hear any stories when you lived there?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, because, I'm from Chicago.
Right.
I was there till I was about 7, but my cousins, all, grew up. They've moved on, but, some of my family's still there, and they talk about that all the time. And my cousin actually also is in special effects in the movie industry, and he was filming a show at some former girls' school or nurses' school. I don't know what it was. But they were told while filming, don't go to the 3rd floor. Just really don't. And they're like, why? Well, there's people have, it's just not a good thing. People have say they've seen things and, So what do you think everyone's going to do? Come on. I would.
Running up there.
I'm going. I mean, I'm going to be scared out of my mind, but I want to know, what is it people see, And so he did not go, but the producer and some of the crew went up, and apparently something happened, and he said a photograph was taken, and you can see, and he has it. I'm going to get it from him, so I'm going to post it on your page because he has it. But he didn't go, but he just said, yeah, and he's a skeptic, and he goes, yeah, this is kind of creepy, and I'm a skeptic. So interesting, right?
Wow. Very scary. And we only have a couple minutes left. Oh my God! I got a quick note here I wrote because I listened to all your shows.
Okay.
I heard that you like peanut butter. Was that you that liked the peanut butter on your hot dog?
Yes, we did a show on Fluid. Yes. Okay. You want to know how I figured that one out?
Yeah. How did you put those two together?
Well, the show was Guilty Pleasures. So that's one of my guilty pleasures. If I'm ever feeling like comfort, like I want to, sometimes we all comfort food eat, and that's mine: peanut butter and hot dog. And how that came about was when I was a little kid, and we moved from Chicago to Boston, and I lived in this little town called Scituate. And the kids, that's what they ate: peanut butter on their hot dog.
Oh, okay.
And the first time they told me, I'm like, what? Well, guess what? Once you had one, you never go back. It's fantastic.
Okay, so everybody try that.
Try a peanut butter and hot dog. Cook your hot dog. Put a little peanut butter. Crunchy's the best. And tell me what you think. It's to die for. It really is.
And we could also hear you on Feast on This is that Monday nights?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't talk about peanut butter and hot dogs on that show because every chef would probably slit my throat.
Yeah. But I love listening to that show when I'm at work and there's nothing to eat and I'm hearing about all these meals and everything.
I know, it's crazy, right?
We have 45 seconds left. Everyone, please listen to Jennifer and Willie and Susan on Fluid Radio, and I posted the link all over the place, and if anybody needs to find it, just message me. And it's been wonderful having you, and please come back, and you could bring any guests you want.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone in the chat room for listening, and how wonderful. It was great. I really appreciate it.
It was, and I'm going to leave now before I ruin anything. And thank you again, Jennifer. Thank you, Dr. Dave, for producing. And I'll talk to you later. Yep. And good night, everyone. See you next week on the Haunted Chronicles.
Bye.